Hello viewers and welcome to our first preview for MotoGP 17. Seen here running on the PlayStation 4. I've had a bit of a chance now to give it a good run and see how it's developed, and I can say it is quite easily the most exciting MotoGP game release in years. It's moved forward a long way. We're going to look at this in this video, and you can see here a bit of action around Catalonia. But one of the things that's really moved forward is the audio. Pretty fantastic the audio is. If you've been to a MotoGP, you know how loud, how visceral it is. Have a listen to this bit just coming up here. It might be quite loud, so you might want to turn down your headphones, but I've left it at a moderate volume. Have a listen to this. Nice audio from the Moto 2 class, but all the classes. We're going to look at some of this. I was very impressed, had the headphones on, had them on quite loud, and it gave me that authentic feeling of being at a race. These bikes are super loud and it really does bring that home. Now, I was just having a flick around the menus here. I just thought I would show you some footage of this because the menus are wonderfully designed. There's a really nice polish to the menus. It's really moved on. You know, when you look at past releases from Milestone, just at the level of improvement, investment in just making everything look a lot more polished. A really polished looking game. It's great to see how it's all come together. You have all the riders, the Moto 2, 3, you have the obviously Red Bull rookies in there as well now, and all the circuits. I was just having a flick through the circuits. It's one of those situations when you're recording a video like this that you've not ridden the bikes before and you have a limited time to record, so you just pick the circuits that you know. I did go onto the Red Bull ring actually, but we're not going to look at that in this video because there was still some work being done on this, and I will point out it's still a work in progress. So there we have the 4 classes of bikes in there, plus of course, which I haven't run yet, is the Legends bikes. There's a whole bunch of those as well. And with the new audio, it's going to be great to see, you know, how they all feel in terms of their personality and their, not only their riding style, but also the noise of the bikes and how that's changed over the years. Certainly impressive to see. So I've tested all of this different classes, and you're going to see that in this video here today as well. Handling wise, so far I'm finding it very intuitive. The bike is going where I want it to go. It feels more natural. It feels like they've taken that Ride 2 handling essentially and taken it forward. And here you can see a bit of the on-bike cam. I've not done much on-bike cam. 2 reasons. One, they're still working on the bikes. This build is a couple of months old. It's going to look even better in the final game. And 2, I'm rubbish at riding on the bike. I'm much more comfortable riding behind the bike. When you have a limited time, fine. If I had laps to spare, I could work on it, but I don't. So I just want to show you guys the game. So a lot of my riding is going to be from behind the bike. You can see me. I'm all over the shop when I'm riding on this view. But it's very impressive. The audio is good. The feeling of being on the bike is good. I think we see a couple of views here. Helmet cam, it's alright. It's alright. It's still a bit sort of stuck to the screen, and I am going off and I'm realising, do you know, that wasn't working for me, was it? So back into the racing then. And I think I kick off here with the Red Bull Rookies Cup, which is new. So going to the different riders, into the menus, all the official riders there. Custom riders, the management mode is something we're not going to touch on in this video, but of course there is an entire management option in there, and of course the eSport stuff as well. We'll talk about that a bit later in the video. So trying to pick a circuit for the Red Bull. I'm thinking, what to do? It's nice because when they've remodeled a whole bunch of these circuits as well. Mugello in particular has been completely rebuilt from the ground up. Looks really nice now. Catalonia was looking nice and detailed. In general, the fact that it's all running at 60 frames, they've taken the old engine, doubled the frame rate, is very impressive. But again, I'm going to leave you guys to a little bit of audio. Have a little listen to this, and you know, as we run a lap of the Le Mans Bugatti circuit and see what you think. But so far I was very impressed with what I was hearing, and it really sort of got me into the racing action. But I'm going to leave you with this for just a moment.
A few more seconds left. French.
So a really sort of there's a cacophony of sounds that you're hearing. You know, they've done the distortion route. They've gone down that lack of purity, and it sounds much more authentic in terms of the noise, the sort of hissing you get in your ears of the echo of the sound. It's so loud and distorted. Really nice to hear. Now these bikes are very much the entry level, work really well, but you find that, you know, even there's a lot more speed to find. It's going to be really nice honing these bikes. In terms of handling model, you have the standard semi-pro and pro handling, which we're all used to, but for the purpose of doing these videos, I've gone with the semi-pro handling. I find it's a nice balance. It's the way I enjoy. If you're using the pro handling, usually you fall off your bike a lot more easily, and also you know, if you touch other bikes, you're more likely to fall off all the time. We didn't want that in this video, so it was much easier to do it this way. And throughout this video you'll see a mix of joint brakes and you know, separate brakes. I tend to run with separate brakes just because it's easier to control the rear brake now and again when you need it. But either way, handling was very smooth, very intuitive, running around that lap. I didn't actually know where all the braking points were. I was using the other, so you'd see me braking a little bit earlier at times, using the other bikes as a brake marker if you like. But either way, it worked very well. Rumble through the controller was quite accurate, so you could feel when you were on the limit. You could feel when you were, you know, starting to lose control. And I had a few times where I was almost losing control, and you know, my guy was all over the bike, and I managed to keep on it. So that worked really well. So let's have a listen to the Moto 3. Again, like the Moto 2s, Montegi, they sound great. Let's have a listen to them. So again, really nice audio. It gives you a feeling of being in the action here. You know, could have done with a bit of echo under the bridge if I was to be super picky, but besides that, it looks and sounds brilliant. It's nice, it's smooth, it's flowing. Remember, there are a few graphical bugs and bits and pieces they're still working on in this build. This is an early build, so you will see odd things here and there, and optimization process and polishing is still going on as well. So there's lots more going to be to be looked at in terms of the final game when we get hold of that, and we'll be having a team chat as well. But in terms of braking, intuitive feeling, picking out a braking point, whenever you're playing a bike game, you're looking a little bit further down the road than you are with, say, car driving. You have different areas, you know, you're looking for an arc quite a way up in terms of choosing when you're going to turn in, and finding out how long you can stay on the power, and you know, where you come off the power and you can turn in nice and slow to get on the power again nice and early on an exit. And there's one thing about bike games, that when you get it right, it just feels so, you know, such a good feeling to hook up a few apexes and really enjoy that. So Moto 3, fantastic. Again, let's have a listen to that Moto 2. So again, great audio there. Taking a rider out there. As I understand it, again, the AI is still something that's still being developed at this stage, so I found it pretty good. In terms of taking riders out and you being taken out, I found that it wasn't too bad. It was easier to take them out than you, but that's a good thing for me, because otherwise it would become very frustrating. I think we've had MotoGP experiences in the past where you fall off when somebody practically looks at you and then that's it, you're down. It can be quite frustrating. But either way, looks, plays, sounds great. Really enjoyed everything, and it just made the experience so much more fun to play. I mean, the handling wise, the bike felt more natural, it felt more intuitive, it was easier to place the bike. The only issue here really is I don't know the braking points, so I'm probably braking too late or too early at different points, but that's where you need some hard time trial laps to get the most out of your bike and improve those lap times. And also you need to be on separate brakes, because that does make a big difference in terms of overall lap time and getting the most out of your braking into the corners. And you will see the different nuances of different riders as well in terms of how they brake and legs sticking out, all the rest of it. So very impressive. Now we're on to the MotoGP bikes. We're not going to do a separate bit of audio for this right now. The audio on these bikes isn't complete at this time. It's still been worked on. As I understand it, it's all done now in the game as it stands. But on this particular old build, they were sorting out the volume on the bikes. But we'll listen anyway, because they still sound great. So the volume levels are still not balanced on this particular version, so there's still a lot to do in terms of bringing that together. As I'm riding here as Valentino Rossi, of course, around Mugello, where else? And of course Mugello, as I was saying, has been remodeled, lots more detail to it now. It really does look very nice indeed. It amazes me that they've managed to not only double the frame rate and improve the visual look of it in every way, but actually improve on the lighting and the detail and everything that was there before. Really does look very impressive indeed now. The MotoGP bike's obviously a lot more challenging to ride than the other ones. You really need to know how to place your bike more into the corners. It is quite challenging, and watching beginners play this at the absolute beginners play this at the preview event, you could see a lot of people were finding it very challenging. So they do have various different aids to help people round, but you still need to put a bit of time in there to learn each course. You know, you've got to learn where the braking points are, how to turn in, be gentle with the throttle. I find I'm always better with the Xbox controller than the PlayStation controller in terms of travel on the triggers. It's something I've mentioned before, but it just gives me that bit more sensitivity in terms of the bike, and sort of also getting it in your head about how early you need to steer into some of these corners. The final corner here feels a bit slower. I was braking late there, and it just feels a bit slower sometimes than previous versions. I don't know, just felt that way. But either way, visually looked great. Handling was really nice throughout. So great management mode, loads of historical bikes, all the different feeder classes, all the different riders, all the different tracks, improved graphics, improved sound, improved handling. It's also got a split screen 2-player mode, which is great. It's nice that that's coming back and that's in there as well. And I look forward to showing that on a future video. I don't have any footage of that yet. A little bit of replay here. Replays are still being worked on. This is obviously important with the esport competition that's coming as well. Quick word about the esport, of course, being run by Dorna. It will be in front of millions of people. It will be a huge competition, and it's the first time ever, the actual backer of an actual sport has come forward to support the esport like this. So who knows, maybe one day we'll see Liberty Media doing the same with Formula One as well. But either way, it's great news for MotoGP fans. It'll be great to see where this goes, and it's important that obviously Milestone have the solid product that's going to work and deliver on what they're looking for. So overall feelings then on this first preview was I walked in expecting another MotoGP game, something pretty standard. I walked out saying I really thoroughly enjoyed that, a bit like MXGP, and I was very impressed with the audio. I was like simply blown away with the improvements that Milestone have made, from the poor audio and replays and stuff like that of Sebastian Loeb a couple of years ago to something much more representative for the sport. And for fans of the sport, they will enjoy it immensely. Absolutely fantastic. So lots more coverage coming on the channel in the coming days. We've got extended races of all the clips you've seen here, so you can see the full races, a lot of it without me waffling on. And of course we'll have extensive preview coverage and a team chat to support that as well. But that's it from me for now. I'll leave you this last little bit looking at Valentino Rossi's backside. And remember, viewers, as the slogan says, the future is in your wrist.